about James Earl Jones? We lost James Earl Jones in 2024. Was he a big inspiration to our people as well?
That dude was he just was a noble type of character, man. You know, I never met the man personally, but maybe because of his voice and his presence and some of the parts he's played in various movies, you never seen him sell himself short. He always played a strong black character, and I think that maybe helped his image to us overall. Just somebody to respect, just like Lou Gossett. Lou Gossett was somebody to respect. We just felt that way. I didn't really know the dude, but I've never seen him embarrass himself. Again, you got to remember also, these people came from a whole different era, even from one that was deeper than mine. So dignity was a big part of what they had to represent, because at one point in time, those guys represented the black community. They were the faces of the black community, and they had an obligation in the time and the era in which they had their heyday. They had an obligation to the black community, just like Kareem, just like Jim Brown and Jim Kelly, and who else was four of them? Jim Brown, Jim Kelly, Kareem, and Ali. When they all got together, dude, you know, they represented the black community. They were the stand-up dudes. Hey, man, we not going for this right here. We're holding a press conference. This is what's happening. And those guys were the guys to emulate. And James Earl Jones was one of those dudes. I don't recall him, you know, I don't recall him being in, you know, having a news conference, but his persona represented that era.
Talk to us about, this is one that was as of recent, so we talked a whole lot about him, but let's break it down for 2024 purposes. But the great Quincy Jones, man, how important was he to just music and everything in general?
When it came to music, Quincy was hard to beat. When I got into music, Quincy's name had been popping up for decades in various genres of music. I met him at the premiere of Straight Outta Compton. He was in a wheelchair then. Quincy Jones, although he was loved by the black community, when he married that white girl, he kind of fell off a little bit. He married Peggy Lipton from the Mod Squad. That was just one of his first white wives that we know of. And that was a big deal back in the 70s. That was a big deal. And then shortly after that, I think that's when he had his brain aneurysm or something, kind of brain tumor or something. And but she stayed down with him. So, you know, it is, you know, and it's a music game, man. So you know, I had a lot of respect for the brother, put it that way. I had a lot of respect for him. Don't know nothing about his backstory, his private life. I can't speak on that. I won't speak on that. But they always had a great, respectable facade when it came to black folks.
You know, someone we almost lost, Lonzo, and I'm very curious if you've seen his most recent stand-up comedy show, but we almost lost Jamie Foxx this year. Did you happen to see his stand-up show? I'm just curious.
I did. I was one of the first people to watch it when it came
Lonzo,
out.
I have never, and I'm a big Jamie Foxx supporter. I've always loved him, going back to Living Color and all his movies. Great, one of the best actors in my opinion, period. But when I watched that, first of all, I cried like a little bit. I was shedding little tears, can't lie. And I've never watched a stand-up comedy show that made me appreciate life like that, man. I mean, you know it, the way he broke it down the first 10 minutes, it was like hard for him to even get through telling the story. You know what I mean? Let alone a watcher. And anyone out there who hasn't seen that, I would highly suggest you watching Jamie Foxx's recent stand-up comedy show on Netflix. It's blew my mind. But I don't know. Talk to us about Jamie Foxx, man, and your thoughts when you watched his recent show.
You know, being that I had a friend of mine who suffered a stroke around the same time, I thought about him doing while I was watching the Jamie Foxx special, and then after the Jamie Foxx special went off, my buddy called me. He said, "So, Jamie Foxx said I walked the same path of Jamie Foxx, dude." He said, "For 29 days, I don't remember shit in my life. For 29 days, I have no memory whatsoever of what happened those days." And you know, he said it resonated with him. He said it resonated with him personally because he's been there, and that's something that I have to commend him for, because you know all the speculation, you know, he clowning Cat Williams, a mystery illness. That shit was hilarious. But he was able to find some humor in a situation that, for the most part, wasn't funny at all. If you ever seen somebody that went through a stroke, like I have, that shit ain't funny. It's hard to make light of that shit. But he was able to, you know, tell the story and make us not only appreciate him coming back, but appreciate his talents. You forget Jamie sing his ass off. You forget Jamie ain't just a comedian, okay? Jamie's a multi-talented individual. They don't make it out of them no more. You don't see a whole lot of them. You know, you got people that can tell jokes and maybe sing a little bit, but this dude acts his ass off. You got rappers that can act certain parts. They got the same part every time. Jamie Foxx he played all kinds of superheroes. He played cops. He played women. He played all kinds of stuff in his career, and you know, did a very good job. He could play blind. He played Ray Charles to the great job of playing Ray Charles. All right, only brother I would think that was more just as talented with him probably was Chadwick Boseman, who played James Brown. When it came down to people playing other celebrities, them two boys did the best job I've ever seen, and along with Angela Bassett doing Tina Turner. But to see Jamie Foxx be up and around after going through what he went through, and being able to tell the story with his daughter by his side, man, that was some real shit. Comedians, I've heard reviews. Well, it wasn't stand up. It was a show. It wasn't just a stand-up comedy event. It was a stand-up comedy show. It was a show where this man did his comedy. He told stories. He sang. He showed love for his daughter and his audience. Hard to beat that, dude. I don't think anybody can do that.
Yeah, it was amazing. And once again, I encourage anybody out there who is just a fan of life, period, check it out. Just give it a shot. Just sit down for the next 5 minutes. If you can make it through the first 5 minutes without balling, you're good. You can make it through the rest. It's really dope, man. Yeah, but let's talk about a few more losses that we had this year, Lonzo. Before we wrap it up, we got about 8 more minutes. Let's talk about O.J. Simpson, man. I mean, someone who's inspirational on the football field, but obviously I knew him a little bit different as the guy who took the police through a high-speed chase back in the 90s, interrupted the football game, the basketball game, if I'm not mistaken. But